Ah, gosh darn it, man. No. Okay, no, I'm not going to do the Steve Carell office thing. Today we are talking about the waiver wire, because yesterday we had spoken out about how the Vancouver Canucks placed 4 guys on the waiver wire. Phil DiGiuseppe, Jiri Patera, Nate Smith, and Christian Wolanin. In the video yesterday, I said, hey, I don't think the Vancouver Canucks have to worry too much because I don't think any of these guys are going to get claimed. Well, I was wrong. You know, we made the video earlier this morning talking about how I was wrong about Red Wings prospects. Well, I was wrong again because, yeah, Jiri Patera was claimed on waivers by the Boston Bruins from Vancouver. Everyone else cleared. Now, you know, this is interesting because if you go over to the YouTube channel, not only did we talk about the idea of Vancouver maybe needing to worry or whatever about their waiver situation, but we also spoke about Boston's goaltender situation and whether or not the Vancouver Canucks can get involved there. Well, guess what? The Bruins goalie situation has gotten so bad, and the negotiations with Jeremy Swayman have really gone nowhere, to the point that now Jiri Patera is a Boston Bruin. He got claimed from the Vancouver Canucks, and honestly, this makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense, because realistically, if the Bruins are going to be going into the season without Swayman, they have Joonas Korpisalo as their number 1 guy. They needed a backup, straight up. It was supposed to be Swayman and Korpisalo. They couldn't go Korpisalo and Bussy or whomever else was in the AHL system. They needed to get themselves a guy, and Jiri Patera was right there, available and for the taking at $775,000 for the next 2 seasons. Look at that, eh? Jiri Patera is the number 1 trending player on Elite Prospects. How awesome is that? Now, you can take a look at the numbers. You can say, oh, he wasn't too great. 893 save percentage in Vegas is not amazing. 929, though, that's pretty good. He also had a 903 in the AHL last year and a 911 the year before that. Not that Jiri Patera is going to be some amazing analytical monster, but I will say in the preseason games that he had suited up for in Vancouver, he did look pretty good. I was actually pretty confident and surprised in the way that Patera was able to hold himself in the crease. So honestly, thinking about him heading over to Boston, this is going to be great for him because he's going to get an opportunity to play alongside of Joonas Korpisalo, maybe even splitting the load there. And the reason I say that is because Joonas Korpisalo absolutely sucked last year. You look at his numbers in 2023-2024, 890 save percentage in 55 games with the Ottawa Senators. Now, probably that gets a little bit better if he's playing in Boston versus in Ottawa, but still, there's a little bit of, let's just say, fragility there in the way Joonas Korpisalo's numbers and overall play style projects into next season. So the Bruins getting themselves another goalie, getting themselves a guy who played well in the preseason. Jiri Patera is going to come out here and hopefully make the best out of this opportunity, especially since he's 25 years old and signed on till the next 2 years. There's a lot of room for growth here in Patera and the profile in his game. And in Vancouver, unfortunately, he just would not crack that same opportunity because the Canucks would be rolling with Lankinen, Shelovs, and Demko. We knew that their plan was to head into the season with 3 goaltenders, and with 3 goaltenders like that all in the system, it was going to be very difficult for Jiri Patera to maybe even get NHL playing time. We did say this in the video yesterday, that if the Canucks had themselves some sort of a fumble, if any guys get injured, then okay, Patera has the opportunity to come in. Nikita Tolopilo was the backup for Vancouver in the playoffs against Nashville during some stints, so it's obviously possible, but it's just very difficult, and there would need to be so many guys getting taken out via injury in order for Patera to have an actual shot. So from Abbotsford to Boston, that's a pretty good upgrade. And if you're thinking about the Canucks and where they're going with this entire conversation, well, don't worry, Rick Dhaliwal and David Kudrelli, they've got you covered here. Quads went out there and tweeted this about an hour ago. Here's something to note. With Jiri Patera claimed by the Boston Bruins, Ty Young now has a pretty clear path to playing games in the Abbotsford Canucks system. He's a young netminder, no pun intended, and wasn't 100% sure where he would be playing this year when I had spoken to him at training camp. He'll get his shot now. Then, Rick Dhaliwal went out there and said this: the Canucks can still take another goalie off of waivers. So, who knows, man? Maybe there's another deal that is done at some point for some guy within the next 24 hours or so. Don't ruin this for me, David Quadrelli says. Let's go over onto Puckpedia and see their thing here. Do they have the waivers today? Okay, there you go. Cal Petersen. He's a goalie right there. Is that the guy that the Vancouver Canucks go out there and claim in response to the Jiri Patera claiming on the hands of the Boston Bruins? Okay, yeah. Cal Petersen, though, I mean, just taking a look at it, he's making so much money. So maybe not him. He's so expensive. Okay, anybody else here? Yeah, no, I'm not really too sure. I don't know. There are a lot of names that the Canucks could go out there and think about, especially over the next few days when these rosters in the NHL start to get a little bit more solidified. But if it's not Ty Young, I guess we have ourselves another conversation to have at some point. Either way, though, let's go over to that Ty Young and take a look at him and his profile. He actually was pretty good, I would say, in the preseason as well. Reasonably good for the profile that he has. 20 years old, drafted by the Canucks in 2022, 5th round guy, so of course he's not going to be like amazing, but he is a big dude, 6'3", 183. He played pretty well for the Prince George Cougars in the playoffs last year with a .917 save percentage in 4 games. .903 save percentage in the regular season is not great, but now he'll be able to get some reps in the Abbotsford Canucks system with Jiri Patera out and about. So it looks like for Abbotsford, it's going to be Tolopilo and Young if the Vancouver Canucks do not get themselves an extra goalie, either via waivers or they sign somebody else. They got Jonathan Lemieux here as well. Also a young guy. He's 23. Young is 20, so obviously there's a little bit more experience here out of Lemieux, plus he had played in the Abbotsford ECHL system earlier in his career, so that's interesting to note. Actually, look at that profile. From the QMJHL to Concordia in the U Sports League, dominating over there, and then in the ECHL, and now he's probably going to be like the tertiary Abbotsford guy. Look at this. This is so strange. In the playoffs, he had 4 goals against, but he had a .923 save percentage. He must have come into relief or whatever. Yeah, okay, there you go. That's the game that he played. Wow! 4 goals against, but he had 52 shots against. That's crazy. Jonathan Lemieux seems like a monster, doesn't he? Either way, he'll be suiting up in Abbotsford alongside of Tolopilo and Ty Young. This actually helps the Canucks in terms of developing their guys. If you wanted to prioritize Abbotsford winning games, then maybe this is not the best move, putting in an extra goaltender that was just fresh off of the CHL. But if you wanted to go out there and develop, which I think should be the purpose of the AHL, then letting Patera go to Boston, giving him a big opportunity in the NHL with Jonas Korpisalo and allowing Ty Young and Tolopilo to man the crease here in the AHL, I think this is actually a pretty alright move. Especially since Vancouver was able to get Kevin Lankinen earlier in the summer as well. If they did not have Lankinen available to them as an option, and it was supposed to be Shilovs and Patera in the NHL, then there's no way Patera would have gone through this entire thing. There's no way he would have gotten claimed either. So honestly, this feels a lot more just like the domino effect of circumstance here, but at the end of the day, Jiri Patera is getting a better opportunity in Boston. You can't help but wish him well, especially since he played well in the preseason. For Ty Young, this means a little bit more for him and his upcoming season in Abbotsford. I hope he's able to make the best out of that situation here, especially since he was okay in the preseason too. Not the best, but still young, still a lot more to gain for him and his profile. At the end of the day, though, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Vancouver Canucks losing out on Jiri Patera after he gets claimed by the Boston Bruins. Where do you think both teams go as a result of this move? Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.